Join Vince and I, and even Dooms Vince, every Wednesday night at 7 Central Time on the Supervillain Network for a brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour. A full hour of intellectually stimulating discussion, or the next best thing. Steve, unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, I guess it depends on your perspective, because I know what you're going to say to this, and for you it probably is not unfortunate, but apparently there are no plans to bring Constantine back in Arrow right now. That was a one-off thing. There was because a lot of people assumed that there would be talk about a TV show right after that. Some kind of resurgence of Constantine, and that maybe he would come back again this season. But they're not talking about that at all.
Yeah, which is a shame. They started a new petition to save Constantine. I doubt it's gonna work whatsoever, which is sad because that was such a show.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. See, if the ratings that week had been a huge spike, I think there might already be more talk about something.
Yeah, part of the problem was that the episode got leaked a week before it aired. So even if the ratings are better, they're nowhere near as good as they could have been.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a real shame. There was a massive thing on Twitter about that episode being leaked and a lot of people seeing it a little too early.
Yeah, and you know what's weird? They almost had to scrap the whole thing because Matt Ryan's in a play and he didn't have time to do it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Did you hear about this? Okay, so what happened was they thought for a while that he was only going to be able to be there for one day. And so remember when in Crisis, when you and I were complaining that he was mostly just a plot device and that they didn't, really get into, who he is at all. But part of the reason for that, and I still think you could have written it better. I think you still could have had him at least say, seems like a bad idea to try to put a soul back in a dead person because consequences of magic, that's what I'm all about. Never one thing about any of that stuff. But so I mean, that's not a time issue. But it turns out that he, like I said, he was doing some play, and they almost were only able to get him for one day. So imagine what it would have been like if that had happened.
Oh yeah, that would have
been a glorified cameo.
Yeah, I know he's doing some work all over the place right now. Like he was a character in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but I haven't played that yet.
Oh really? Weird.
Yeah, he did the voice and motion capture, the whole 9 yards for that game.
So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. That's kind of a bummer, but it's cool. If that's the last time we get to see him again, maybe we get to see him. At least, A, we got to see him one more time, and B, it wasn't awful.
Yeah, it wasn't season 3, so that's good.
We're getting another 2-part Flash Arrow episode, another crossover here pretty soon, Steve.
Oh.
And it's and apparently this time it's going to actually tell one story instead of contriving a reason for one person to be in one show one week and the other person to go to that other show the next week, linked right next to each other for no good reason. So that's good. And it's apparently going to mostly be there to set up Legends of Tomorrow, which I keep forgetting we're getting closer and closer to.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming then that's going to air around winter mid-season breaks.
Yeah.
Like it did the first time. So I guess, is it going to have one villain for both parts then, if that's what they're doing?
I don't know. The way it was described by, I don't remember which producer was the interview I read, but the way it was described is that it's supposed to one is supposed to still feel like a Flash episode and one an Arrow episode, but they're one story that's kind of arcs between them. Sort of like anytime Xena or Hercules would cross.
Okay, well that's good. Because the Flash Arrow crossover last year was not very good at all, and hopefully they learned from that here.
I hope so too. I feel like the writing between the shows this year is a little bit more even, or a little bit more even in quality. And so I'm not expecting to watch a crossover this time and Flash to suddenly write a lot more juvenile than it has all season, like I felt like it did last year.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're communicating a little bit more with each other, which is good. And if it's supposed to set up Legends of Tomorrow, then maybe we'll get our first glimpse at Vandal Savage, which could be interesting.
And speaking of CW, I guess I'll tack this on here real quick. I don't have much to say about this, but apparently CW is producing a pilot for an Archie show.
Are they really?
Yep, called Riverdale, of course, because the CW is obsessed with making shows called whatever the place is that a person is from. And looking at the do I have it here? Maybe I'll pull this up and read you some of this. It reads like just another CW teen drama,
Oh.
it should be like a teen soap thing that's over the top and almost making fun of that kind of stuff. I would figure, but it sure doesn't read that way. Let me try to find it real quick.
Oh, that's disappointing. Because if you wanted to put a satire of bad relationship drama on any network and it's the CW, it would be perfect. But if they're not doing that, then what's the point?
Well, yeah, that's what I think. The way what I'm seeing people compare it to is it sounds a lot like a One Tree Hill kind of thing.
That's bad. I know Mark Waid's writing the comic right now. It'd be pretty cool if they brought him in for that.
See, and I think he could easily be a good, if not a showrunner for a show, at least like the head writer.
Yeah, because he's not doing too much else right now, is he?
I don't think so.
I know he's got an Avengers book, but that's really about it.
It's another Greg Berlanti thing. How many things can Greg Berlanti seriously?
Oh my God, is it really him?
4 TV shows right now, like already.
Wow, that's insane.
And okay, explain this to me. If CW doesn't want to be the superhero network, they sure don't mind being the comic book network.
Well, isn't he supposed to be part of another TV series that stars the kid that played Ron in the Harry Potter movies? That's going to be a superhero show.
Yes, yeah, I think he's involved in that thing. Yeah, I meant to bring that up last week on the program, and I forgot all
Rupert
about
Grint.
it.
Yes,
Yes,
that guy.
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
It's my one thing to add to this conversation.
He's a mean one, Mr. Grint.
Uh,
But no, he's not. But that whole thing was really interesting to me because it sounds like Grint is like one of one of the people like developing the story for that. So like he's supposed to star in it, but it's also like partly his idea.
huh.
Oh, that's cool.
At least that's what I read. So I think that's fascinating. Anyway, so about the Archie thing. So I'm reading this from tvline.com is where I'm getting this article, and it says here are the specific breakdowns for the core four. Archie Andrews, a high school sophomore, the redhead is still boyishly handsome but pumped and looking good after working construction for his dad during the summer. Archie is grappling with heavy issues and juggling the interest of several girls while discovering his that's comic book. Discovering his passion for writing and performing music against his father and his football coach's better wishes. Oh, and he's harboring more than one dark, terrible secret.
What terrible secret does Archie have?
He's a werewolf.
Oh, okay.
Would not surprise me.
Betty Cooper, the blonde and pretty sophomore, is described as having some self-esteem issues and affinity for Adderall. Eager to please.
Why is that necessary?
Oh my God!
Eager
Way to
please,
update Archie.
wholesome and see. So I'll read the rest of this, but this just doesn't sound like it has to be Archie. It can be anything, right?
Yeah.
Eager to please, wholesome and studious, Betty has a super crush on her longtime best bud Archie, but tired of being the perfect everything, she turns to her new friend Veronica for life advice. Betty has an emotionally brittle mom, a goth-like sister, and a coveted spot on the cheerleading squad.
Are you kidding me?
Though with certain conditions. ... Ellipsis.
Wow. Weird.
Wow.
Veronica Lodge. Producers are aiming to ideally cast a Latina as this silver-tongued stunner who has just returned to Riverdale from New York following a scandal which resulted in her father going to prison.
Wow.
Why?
Extremely intelligent, self-confident, and immediately popular, Veronica is eager to reinvent herself, from mean girl to caring friend.
So, of course, the Latina would have to have a father in prison, right? Like, seems very stereotypical to me,
It does
and
sound
I'm
very
not
stereotypical.
exactly okay with that. Why not give Betty's father in prison? Why not do that?
Steve, this is technically going to be a comic book show. Are we going to have to cover this on Primetime Crisis, or is that where we draw the line?
Do it.
God, I hope not. We can do
Is this where we
pilot,
draw the line?
Yes, I don't know.
And then
This
finally-
doesn't sound like Archie.
Jughead Jones. See, this is not a thing where you can even have a person named Jughead at this point. Like, just don't even do it.
Yeah, it seems a little too.
A hearing-impaired actor is being sought to play Jughead as an emo heartthrob. The lanky lad is Archie's former best friend, seeing as the two still are smarting from a weird word order from a rift that took place between them. Angry, but with a philosophical bent, Jughead refuses to take the olive branch being proffered by Archie. The hurt goes that deep.
It literally says the hurt goes that deep.
Wow, what is with this show?
Oh yes, I'm reading because I wouldn't say that.
I know, but I'm just emphasizing it. Literally
Oh.
says that.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, that's weird.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be watching that, but we'll see.
That doesn't. That sounds like a thing that either will bomb horribly or do really great because of the network it's on.
I'm hoping for the former.
I mean, see, here's the thing. CW in a way feels like the perfect place to put an Archie adaptation because what you do with it is you do a really tongue-in-cheek, like I said earlier, kind of parody of the kinds of crap they have a reputation for doing, right?
Well, I mean, at that point, you should give it to Dan Hammond and just make like a community type show again.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it would be really fun if a show like that was on CW because, like, I think iZombie has a tendency to subvert some of that stuff,
Yeah.
and it feels almost clever and more sophisticated and even more biting when it's making fun of like college life and stuff like that because of the network it's on.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And
I mean,
part,
Buffy kind of did that.
and CW has a history of that to a degree. Like, Angel was on there for a while, and Veronica Mars was on there, and those shows have done things like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that would love to see the guy that the showrunner from iZombie do an Archie show.
Yeah,
Imagine what that would be like.
Yeah, Rob Thomas could do it. Dan Hammond could do it. Brian Fuller could do it.
Frankly, I think I mean he wouldn't, but frankly, I think Whedon would have been great for a show like
Yeah,
that.
Whedon wouldn't do it, but I'd love it if he would.
Yeah. Okay, well,
He'd get canceled.
no, that's because he would take it to Fox and then it would get canceled.